Chicago's history is rich with the stories of women who took leadership roles in shaping their community, reaching out to those who were disenfranchised, helping to ensure educational and cultural opportunities for all. Some names are well known. Others did their work with little or no recognition. But their legacy is clear and bold and felt to this day. And it can be studied in the Chicago History Museum's exhibits and archives. This video you are watching now, in fact, joins those archives. It is a part of the Guild of the Chicago History Museum's salute to that group of accomplished activist women who take on the essential work of the women's boards of the largest of Chicago's wide-ranging institutions. In 2012, the legacy of female philanthropy is thriving.
Well, philanthropy is a way of giving back, a way of making your community better than how you found it. It's a way of interacting with people to build.
Certainly the foundations of society are in philanthropy, and it's something that's always going to happen.
But it's not just giving of money. It's giving of time and giving of talent.
I think it's a generosity of time and spirit and resources.
Women are the backbone, potentially, of the whole idea of giving, the whole idea of giving beyond yourself.
And I think as my first official volunteer organization was Junior League, which I think is a springboard for many people.
I was 20 years old, fresh out of undergrad, and I joined the women's group at the Chicago Urban League called the Urban Aids. And I remember doing a fundraiser in Comiskey Park.
I would say it began at an early age when I would have the neighborhood kids over, and I would always share whatever we had in the refrigerator or whatever birthday new toy I got.
I don't know, I think I've always been in a household that felt it was important to give back. And it probably happened sometime when I was in elementary school with the brownies, because I was a Girl Scout.
I remember going to a hospital with my Girl Scout troop, and I'm not certain that we were official candy stripers, but we were there in a capacity of understanding, how to help.
Well, I remember as a little girl being involved in raising money and putting money together to buy gifts for a family that was less fortunate than most families we grew up around in the Chicago suburbs, particularly around the holidays with family with kids who had needs.
What inspired me first was I was a young teacher and I was teaching in the inner city, and I came from a home that was full of love and encouragement, and I saw the other spectrum, and I realized that someone needed to really help people, and it was really my first experience at seeing why it was important to be involved in philanthropy.
Well, my parents inspired me because they were very much into Chicago's history, and we always lived right in the heart of the South Side, and that was a very important part of my life. And one of the biggest parts of the South Side area is the DuSable Museum. So I wanted to do whatever I could do in a small way that I can contribute to that.
My first job was folding gloves in the collection. And to me, the history of clothing is the history of what we all do. It's how we live, it's how we set society, it's how we set different classes of people, and it's the history of what we do.
I was a teacher of gifted students in Barrington at a middle school age, and we had very many talented girls in math and science. And it was always stunning to me that when they went on to college, that many of them never pursued careers in those different disciplines. So to be able to come to the Field Museum and visit with these absolutely brilliant young women, they inspire me every day.
It's very important to me as a Chicago resident and as a mother of 3 children and as a business owner here in Chicago, that we have a strong institution that's dedicated in the city towards inspiring young children to study science and math and engineering and technology.
My parents were blue-collar workers, so I was able to go to Northwestern because of the philanthropy of others, because of scholarships and loans and grants.
I saw the children's faces light up when they were brought to the zoo on behalf of the Women's Board and able to do special behind-the-scene tours and get up close and personal with animals. And I saw the difference it made in these children that wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to get to the zoo.
These are major, major collaborative endeavors between the city, the corporations, the philanthropists, generations of families who've supported Chicago, all the way down to individuals like me. And it's very gratifying to be involved in that big picture.
I'm a retired educator, and I am a firm believer in teaching children who they are and where they come from. And I believe very strongly that African American children do not know their history. We will give them experiences with board members who will take them through various icons in African American history.
Young people getting excited and motivated by music, and I think that affects their schoolwork, and I want to think that long term a successful student will be a more successful adult.
So art, it was always alive to me. It wasn't only something that I studied, but I think the process of making art and being part of the art world was really important to me. So actually when someone came and tapped me to be on the Women's Board at the MCA, I was really excited. I've gone to the MCA my whole life.
Not only do we have an incredible, dance company that keeps getting better accolades, but just this outreach program, the Academy, and how it's getting out there and touching so many wonderful lives that in turn, touch others. And
we know that women have, for many, many years, have played a very active role in shaping certainly this city.
I think it's in the ether in Chicago that women volunteer and support nonprofit institutions, and I think it started with the Board of Lady Managers, and don't you really love that title, of the women who were involved in the World's Columbian Exposition of 1893. They ran the Women's Pavilion and said that there are contributions that women can make to Chicago and in fact to the world, and they rolled up their sleeves and did the work. I think that is what women in all our cultural institutions are doing today. We roll up our sleeves and we do the work.
Right now, Chicago is a world-class city, and that is because of our institutions, that the women's boards help make these institutions what they are today.
I think that a lot of it is that I really enjoy working with people, and I enjoy organizing kinds of work, so it's something that I find really engaging. It's something that I enjoy personally, I enjoy it intellectually, and I enjoy seeing results.
I think women appreciate and understand the need to raise money and to get things done and to have great programs for whatever community they're involved in.
I feel that I can do my part in the way that I am functioning with the Women's Board, so that I have worked as a volunteer and primarily to get memberships, but also fundraising, which we have various events to raise money.
We have free family days, and we help contribute to that. And it's really wonderful to go there and see all the kids coming in and participating in all these great activities.
There's an emotional connection. There's a passion why most women decide to do whatever they choose in their volunteer life.
so I kind of see that as a continuance of the difference that women can make. Women are very strong. And they can get things accomplished, and they use whatever means they can to make things happen. They bring in their resources.
I've come across many people who really, in the beginning, aren't sure if they want to join a women's organization. They think that, all women's organizations are the same. And it's very interesting, once they do get involved, they really don't leave it.
It's creating an environment where we can bring together a varied group of women and create a whole that's bigger and stronger than the sum of the parts.
women as mothers. First, hold heartstrings, and we guide the children. We have interfaced with males who hold the purse strings, and I feel that we can influence how the funds in those purses are directed.
I was reading in Forbes recently that women are reshaping and redefining the face of private philanthropy in America, which I find quite fascinating. Women control over half of the wealth in this country, and they make about 80% of all purchases.
If you look at the economics and demographics, women, because they tend to outlive fathers and husbands, are going to control a great deal of the wealth in this country. So I think that's one important change. Another one certainly is that women's own places in the economy have certainly changed drastically, and on the whole for the better in the last 20, 50 years.
My legacy to the organization, I hope, will be to bring along others who are like-minded and equally dedicated.
I think as it pertains to our Northwestern's Women's Board, we're very focused on making sure that there are young women and men who come behind us who will be able to participate in a great education that Northwestern offers by providing the scholarships that they need to have a great education at a great university.
Douglas Druick had an exhibition featuring the works of Van Gogh and Gauguin that was going to open, and did open, at the time of 9/11. 700,000 people came to see that exhibition and received solace from the dazzling works that were on display. It doesn't get better than that for me when I think about the contributions to the soul of the city and to the individuals in the country that a museum is able to bring.